So we'll start off by creating a random generator. So dim gen as new random. Now we will just declare attack number as integer, and we'll set it equal to gen.next, and we'll have a max value of 4. So it will give us possible values, or no, let's do a max value of 3. So it will give us the possible values of 0, 1, and 2. So we'll just go ahead and do a select case. So select case attack num, and we'll just do case 0. So if he punches, what do we want to do? Well, we want to do enemy health minus equals, and let's say, well, let's do 5. So now let's come up here and we'll create a variable. So public, and we'll just call it has spinach as boolean, and we'll go ahead and set it equal to false to begin with. So we'll go ahead and we'll use an if statement. So if has spinach, then what do we want to do? Well, we want to double the damage. So if he has the spinach, then we'll go ahead and then do minus equals 5 times 2. So it will subtract 10. So let's go ahead and cut this right here. And if we use if has spinach, that will run if it's true. Because if you're testing to see if something's true, you don't have to put equals true. So then, if it equals false, then we'll just go ahead and take away 5. Now we'll do this for each of the possible values. So case 1, if has spinach, then enemy health minus equals, and we will do for a kick, let's do 8 times 2, or we'll do 10 times 2. And then if he doesn't, then enemy health minus equals 10. And then for the last attack, case 2, the anchor throw, if has spinach, then enemy health minus equals 15 times 2. And then if he doesn't, then enemy health minus equals 15. Now, in order for us to be able to get that enemy health and set it, we're going to have to come over to our enemy class, which all of our other enemies inherit from, and we're going to have to make health a read and write property. So under our get and inget, we will do type set, and it will fill by val value as integer. And what we want to do is type int health equals value. So now they can set the health of the enemy, and we can use that inside of this attack. So let's go ahead. We'll come over here to our form1.vb design, and let's just shrink the attack button down a little bit. So we'll make it say that big, and let's come over here to our toolbox, and we'll add a radio button. So we will line it up here with our button, and we will set the text to use spinach. But first we'll set the name to radio spinach, and we'll set the text to use spinach. And now let's go ahead and add a label, and let's move everything down a little bit here. So we'll set the name to label spinach left, and we will set the text to spinach left and then 3. So the user will be able to use the spinach a total of 3 times. Now they won't know what attack this is going to use it on because it's generated randomly. So let's go ahead and resize everything. So now what we need to do is come into form1.vb and let's create an object of Popeye. So private, let's just call him hero as new Popeye. So now that we've created that, let's go ahead and use him when he attacks. So we'll come over here to form1.vb. We will double click on attack, and what we want to do is check to see if they have selected use spinach. So we will come up here and we will create a variable. So private int spinach as integer, and we'll set it equal to 3. So if radio spinach dot checked equals true, then we'll go ahead and set the has spinach equal to true. So hero dot has spinach equals true. So now that it is true, we will just go ahead and attack. So hero dot attack. And what we want to do is access the health of the enemy. So we will type current enemy dot health. So after he attacks, what we want to do is set has spinach back to false. So hero dot has spinach equals false. Now we also want to see how many of these they have left. So if this checked equals true, and if int spinach is greater than 0, so int spinach is greater than 0, then we will set that equal to true, and then int spinach minus equals 1. So we just take 1 away from it. And so when we attack the enemy, what we want to do is update the health bar. So we'll type progress bar enemy dot value equals current enemy dot health. So let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. Okay, so you can see that it spawned the enemy and it has full health, and what we need to do is set the full health bar when the form1 loads. But for now we'll just ignore that. So if we check use spinach and click attack, you can see that it takes some health off the enemy, and we can attack again and again until the enemy is dead. And then what we can do is check to see if the enemy has no values left in the progress bar, and then we will show a message box saying that you have won. So we'll go ahead and stop this. And so go ahead and put this code in if you already haven't, if you haven't already, I mean. And once you do that, go ahead and move on to the next tutorial where we will be working more on this game.